We're trying to lift up the profession as members of the profession.
We all have the common goal, is that we want the CFA Institute to continue to be the gold standard.
We're stewards of people's resources. We're stewards of the organization and its mission.
I've never had so much work to do than on the CFA board.
The meetings are often intense and the discussion lively. Sometimes it requires me to ask uncomfortable questions.
It's an honor to be part of this organization and certainly an honor to serve on the board.
I describe myself as an accidental CFA charter holder. And the reason why I say that was, at the time I was sitting for my chartered accounting exams. I believe it was the final or near final at the time. My colleague at Citi at the time was studying for the CFA, and I saw these big books and all that. I picked up one of the books, went through, and I'm like, oh, the content is so rich. And that, once I finished my accounting exam, I was going to pick up the CFA.
All my colleagues were talking about this CFA program, and I thought it was just such a difficult thing because you have to do it 3 years and everything. So one day I was curious. I was thinking, so I took one sample exam of level 1 and I surprised myself and did fine. I was thinking maybe I can do this.
When I was an early stage analyst, I obviously needed to improve my skills and I was considering doing an MBA program, but actually felt like the CFA Institute program was more tailored to what I specifically needed. I really started to value the community that comes through societies and through having the connection with other CFA charter holders. So I found that intersection of the investment knowledge and then the community really drew me in.
So after my time at university, I went into the banking business, basically into the investment management side of the business, and ended up then on the board of a major bank. And from there I was converted, as I like to call it, into a banker. Then decided I think it's enough in this kind of career silos. Became a professor of banking and finance, and at the same time I've built a portfolio of board functions. I'm not a CFA charter holder, but my first contacts go back into the late 80s and early 90s, before the CFA Institute existed in this way.
I ran education programs for clients and internally on products, markets, risk. Then I actually co-ran a fintech business, providing analytics on risk and performance for clients. And then finally I was Chief Risk Officer of the asset management business in Europe and Global Head of Investment Risk for that business.
I'm a partner at IDG Capital, an Asian-focused private equity and venture capital firm. And I also chair the investment committee of a multi-billion European family office. I spent the first 18 years of my career in New York at a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund. I got my start in financing convertible arbitrage, and I think that ultimately taught me that investing is all about how you think about the world, how you are able to connect different dots and evaluate risk-reward and making decisions under uncertainty, and most importantly, always staying humble.
I started becoming a volunteer to the CFA Institute. I participated as grader for 10 years. I was an exam writer. I wrote the end of chapter questions for curriculum. All of that because I wanted to enhance my knowledge and keep doing that. So after 20-something years of being a volunteer to the CFA Institute, this became my DNA. At Boston, I became the chair of the board, and I was with the board for many years. So when I became the governor, I felt this is almost like a pinnacle of my career as a volunteer to the CFA Institute, and I really valued that experience and that appointment.
I kind of came into this part of my career after having spent over 27 years with Morningstar, which is a global investment research and data firm, and I was one of the earlier analysts at that firm. I moved away from the research work and ended up building many of the business lines within the context of Morningstar. I was the chief product officer for the final 3 years of my tenure there. So it was a really rewarding part of my career.
I started my career in banking, and after a few years I joined Arthur Andersen. I worked there for a few years and decided to join Citi in the global markets team. So until 2007, 2008, when I decided to join Africa Finance Corporation. I've been there since 2008 till now, where now I'm the Executive Director and Head of Financial Services at Africa Finance Corporation.
All my life I have been working with global organizations, and this board is so global and international, bringing in different cultures, different views, and at the same time really having respect for each other in an incredible way. I think working on this board is really rewarding, even for somebody who doesn't have the CFA background.
For me, service is very important. I come from an emerging market that needs, standards, needs trust, needs to build a better capital market. And so all the time I volunteered at CFA society level. Was really to upskill the industry. And when I got the opportunity to join the board, and it was just an opportunity to learn from colleagues from all over the world so that I can continue to impact my society, impact my community and the investment industry in general. So for me, it was really about service.
We all have the common goal, is that we want the CFA Institute to continue to be the gold standard, to continue to lead market, continue to be really kind of, set the standards for the entire profession. So that's the goal. And I feel that it was very humbled to see that everybody worked so hard to achieve that goal, and we care about the future of this profession, we care about the future of our members.
Having benefited so much from the charter and the CFA community, I wanted to give back to the profession, especially when it's going through so much changes. And I think given my background in technology investing and my experience across different markets, like the United States, Europe, and Asia, I felt that I could bring a unique perspective on innovation, governance, and geopolitical considerations that are shaping the industry today.
In 2017, I joined the board of CFA UK, the UK Society, and then became chair of the board of CFA UK. I then rolled off in 2023, and I was really pleased to then be able to use the skills and knowledge of the local society and of the institute that I built up serving on the board of CFA UK to then join the board of CFA Institute.
I felt like I could bring a somewhat differentiated point of view as a board member because I come from more of an operational point of view, having built and led businesses, as opposed to coming from an investment research point of view. And clearly within the context of the Institute and what we want to do with our curriculum and with our own operations and with our members, we need a little bit of both.
I've joined a board of very knowledgeable, diverse viewpoints with a very collegiate approach, but challenging as well, and challenging the Institute to really serve its members and work with the local societies around the world as well as it can.
The caliber of the people and the respect that comes from all of the governors and the management team and the way we work together, I felt it was really constructive. And relative to some of the other boards I'm on, which are earlier stage businesses, I've learned a lot about a larger scale organization, frankly, and one with global complexity, and how we manage risk and think about risk and bring in the diverse perspectives, yet still drive to a decision and have a conclusion and be supportive, and at the same time having the right level of governance and oversight. It's challenging and very rewarding.
The work is rigorous, the meetings are often intense, and the discussion lively. Sometimes it requires me to ask uncomfortable questions, and I also gain a deep respect for my fellow governors for how seriously they take their responsibility as stewards of the Institute.
My experience at the board has been really just getting into what's going on within the organization, how we're making a difference, how we support the mission, and just generally listening to people, the leadership team and all that, and trying to find consensus on the right direction for the organization. And I think it's been a great experience.
I've never had so much work to do than on the CFA board. I think the work is so intense, it covers so many activities, and we are challenged to our way. That's the message I can bring to members, because they can't really see what's happening on the board.
If I think of my role as a governor at CFA Institute, we're stewards of people's resources. You know, we're stewards of the organization and its mission to ensure that, you know, the mission is advanced.
We're trying to lift up the profession as members of the profession, and we have a shared set of values and common interests, and it's an honor to be part of this organization, and certainly an honor to serve on the board.
I want the members to know that we carry on that duty and responsibilities to the full extent.
The amount of debate, the amount of discussion and dialogue that goes on behind the scene is enormous. There's significant amount of trust that has been, you know, put on us. And I think the membership should realize and know that the board doesn't take that trust for granted. And we do everything to uphold it and ensure that the institute is well run.